This Three Beards Media podcast may contain mature themes, and if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Like the podcast. Nailed it!
Drop it.
Welcome back. It is another season, new season of All Don't Lie podcast. And we have a new home, Justin.
We do.
I'm excited. We're very excited to be part of Three Beards Media, our new home for our new season of the All Don't Lie podcast. I think this is season 4.
Season 4, man. It's crazy.
4. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But again, we have a new home. We'll be tweeting out the new links and stuff. Chris and those guys are awesome from Three Beards Media, so it'll be easier to get to this year. Kind of some cool new stuff. So keep following along with us, and it's like Christmas morning, man. NFL starts tonight.
Can't wait. Oh, we got a little bit of what the appetizers was what we like to call it last week, but we got the main course now.
Yeah, so you'll hear us refer to college football as appetizers for NFL Sunday. We're obviously NFL heavy based stuff. That's where we like to butter our bread, I guess. We pay most attention to, but look, we love college football too. But let's just jump right into it. Why don't we can recap a little bit. We'll start with our college football. That's usually how we do it, and then we move in, like we say, it's an appetizer. We set up for the main course, the NFL. But welcome back to everybody. To our new listeners, don't take us real seriously. What we do, though, is we don't hide behind our picks or our records. We put them out there. We stand by them. We're pretty active on Twitter during the season, so follow along. Our Twitter handle is @BallDon'tLiePod4, and yeah, we'll kind of just go from there. Obviously, Deion set the college football world on fire last week, which I'm a huge Deion fan.
Same.
So it's fun for us, especially to watch our buddy Jose squirm a little bit too. Now coming in as dogs this week. I think preseason was like -6 or 7. You could have bet that game on I think it was DraftKings app, and yeah, that line has obviously switched. Iowa and Iowa State both got wins last week. Didn't learn much about any of them there. I don't have a great feeling this week as an Iowa State fan. Again, for our newcomers here, you were an ex-Hawkeye fan because you denounced them after, was it 2015 Big Ten championship game?
2015.
As long as the Ferentz is still coaching, You're done. So
done. I'll be done forever.
Done forever now. But we'll just jump right into it there too. Might as well start with what's going on this week. It's hate week. It's CyHawk week. The game's in Ames. Sounds like President Trump's coming now. There's all kinds of stuff going on. So that is going to be a circus in Ames, and I'm gonna stay away. I got offered yesterday, and I'm like, no, you know what? I think I'm gonna watch it at home. Right.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. It'll be interesting to see how this game unfolds. You alluded to last week, right? But I don't think both teams. I mean, Iowa for sure didn't look good. I mean, Utah State's a bad football team. They're projected to be one of the bottom teams in the Mountain West, and obviously that is not a strong league by any stretch of the imagination. So, I think Iowa State went pretty blah in the second half, with the lead, just protecting it. Both the defenses, are pretty good or really good actually. So, it probably going to come down to who creates one of those wacky turnovers.
Well, and that's what Iowa's lived off of in this series, especially recent memory is just dominating the turnover margins there. I mean, look, both defenses are good. I think that shows by the over-under being at 36.5. It got down to like 33 on Circa at one point this week. I think maxed up at 37. I mean, it's embarrassingly low. And you can't talk me into taking the over, I don't think.
See, it's too hard for me to even take the under because of just though. I'm sure I wouldn't be shocked if there's defensive touchdown, right? And that's how those overs happen. Is something
defense, sure, yeah, but
one of those goofy things happen, and then before you know it, the over is very much in play, especially at a total like that. But hopefully Iowa State gets it done this week.
This game made my card, and I have Iowa -4. I do not feel good about this season coming up, and a lot of it is our schedule. There's just too many question marks for me, and I really want to be wrong. Obviously, this is a game I hope I miss, but I just see like a 20-10, 24-7 win. I don't know if we're gonna be able to move the ball enough. We're gonna see what we have at quarterback and running back this week very quickly. Yep. So. Iowa made the card for me. I don't know if this game made the card for you or not. I don't want to talk about it though. But, Iowa did make the card at -4, and I hope I miss.
Okay. Well, we'll just go with my traditional ugly ways here. So we're going to go SMU +16 at Oklahoma. I don't know. I love fading teams. For those who are new, like teams that come off a crazy high week. Oklahoma won 73-0 over Arkansas State. I just instantly look to play against those teams, truthfully. So, the public's going to be all over Oklahoma here. But take notice, like SMU last week, they were laying a big number against Louisiana Tech, and they were -21, and they also took care of business. So, I don't know. It's double digit. It's over 2 touchdowns here. I like SMU at least to hang within the number. It'll probably be a sweat for sure. I mean, if Dylan Gabriel is the real deal, then I guess I'll be up against it.
Well, we're gonna find out. That's
right.
Sure.
Right. This is gonna be a lot. This will be a lot tougher test here.
Here's another one that I hope I miss on. Again, I love Deion. I want Colorado to be good so bad. I take Nebraska. That's one of my 2. I did take 2 preseason bets this year. I took Iowa over 8.5 wins at +120. I bumped it up to there just because their schedule is really easy again.
It's Cupcake City, baby. Cupcake City.
I bought Nebraska down to under 6 wins to miss a bowl again at +132. So I actually need Nebraska to not win this game for other reasons. I'm taking a +3, man. 89% of the public, as last I saw earlier today, was on Colorado after this overreaction. And you and I know how we feel when the public gets so heavy one side. And again, for some new listeners, you are the biggest conspiracy theorist when it comes to referees.
Oh gosh, yeah. This game screams it, to be honest. I do. I hope you're wrong, actually, too.
I do too.
We both love Deion. I mean, I'm all on the board. In fact, I think they should rename Boulder Prime.
Oh, they might. This is over. You don't know.
Prime Colorado. Yeah,
I think that's possible.
Right.
So yeah.
So we'll see.
For me though, Nebraska +3 made the card.
That Sims looked horrible against Minnesota.
He didn't look very good. And look, there could be a couple things here. TCU might not be as good as we expect him to be, and Minnesota might be better.
And I think both could be true. Yes. TCU's for sure down. There's no.
I mean, they lost too much last year. I mean, it's like it shouldn't have been that big. I mean, look, there was a 21-point spread. I actually put some pizza money on it just because Colorado lost so many people. Like, you can't understate what he did. Whether or not they still might win 3 games this year, but he's done enough already to get the recruits he wants for next year. It's been proven that they have it. You can come get it done there. So he's already accomplished what he set out to do. It doesn't matter what happens the rest of the year. It's the best thing that could happen to that program. So,
right.
Look, I hope Colorado wins by 2. That's what I hope.
Right. There you go. Best case scenario. I'm going to go Pitt -7 over Cincinnati. This Pitt team, I think, is sneaky in the coastal side, behind UNC this year. Cincinnati is a team I'm extremely down on.
That coach is
They
a big
lost
deal.
their
That's a
coach
big
in
deal.
Fickle. Yeah, it really is, and they only return 8 total starters from last year. The team wasn't great last year. You kind of saw a little decline anyway. So I think you're really going to see it. I mean, Pittsburgh here, they get actually got you turned me on to this guy that I'm going to mispronounce his name. The transfer from Boston College, he was quarterback, that Phil Yurkovich dude. He's now the quarterback for Pitt. So
he's a real deal.
I like him.
He's gonna play
yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's a good player.
This game just
I
like Pitt too. It just
all right. Yeah, I like Pitt laying a touchdown. I definitely think since he's overmatched here this week.
All right. I'm going to take UTEP -2 at Northwestern. I think Northwestern is going to be possibly the worst team for sure the worst Power 5 school, but it might be the worst team in the country. All classes on it too.
Yep.
UTEP is going to look. They're favored for a reason here on it. I don't think this line's enough. I think it should be closer to a touchdown. I think it's just because it is a Power 5 school they're playing. It's at Northwestern. I think UTEP is going to win this game by double digits. I really do. I don't think Northwestern can score.
Okay, I can get on board with that. And so actually a play alongside of that is I'm taking Temple plus 9.5 versus Rutgers. And it's because Rutgers played Northwestern last week.
They didn't beat him by that much. And it's Northwestern is bad.
And Northwestern's really bad. And I just wasn't impressed. I mean, so hey, for Iowa folks, Kurt Warner's son is the quarterback at Temple. So that'll be kind of fun to watch. But he set the freshman record for passing yards last year for them. So I think they'll be able to sling it around. And I just think Rutgers is being a little overvalued simply because I think Northwestern, as you've already alluded to, they're horrible. So I'll take the points here.
That makes sense. I'm going to take – so Ole Miss is playing at Tulane. They're both – and Tulane's rated now. So you got number 20 versus number 22. We're both big Lane train guys. The over-under on this is 66. This game might be in the 90s. This might be a 45-40 game. 50-50. It just could be in the hundreds. I think there's going to be a ton of points here. I don't think 66 is enough. I'm going to be hammering this over at 66. Right. Lane might get 60 himself.
Okay. I'll jump on board with you there. I never play over-unders because, as you know, I'm the worst over-under player in America.
I don't know if you're even that bad at it. You just talk yourself into it so long now that you just don't do it.
Well, that's probably true too. All right, I'm going to take Boise State plus 3.5 at home against Central Florida. Just a good buy low spot after last week. I hold nothing against Boise. They end up getting blown out in the second half against, in my opinion, a very, very good football team in Washington. Actually, a team who I think is like a sneaky team to make the Final Four or make the playoffs. Washington's really good. Penix is, as good as advertised.
He has a real chance
for sure. I agree. Yeah, that guy, he's not afraid. He airs it out.
What a good decision for him to get out of Indy, though, because it just wasn't. And look, and I like Indiana's coach, but that system just in the Big Ten play there, he was meant to get on the out to the West Coast and kind of play more opened up football there in Washington. That was a good move for him.
Right.
He's gonna be playing on Sundays because of that. I think.
Oh yeah, I think he will be, 100%. Yeah, I like him on Sundays. This a goofy travel spot too. When's the last time Central Florida's went this far for this early in the season?
Why are they going that far? Why are you going to Boise? What's the upside there? I don't get it.
Yeah, I just think it's a little too much here. Boise home dog here off of an ugly loss. I'll take the 3.5.
I got one more.
I got one.
And
I got one more also.
Okay. I got your get your money back late night, 9:30 Saturday night, Auburn at Cal. Auburn's only 6.5 point favorites. I fully expected this game to be double digits. I don't know a ton about this game right now, too. This is a get back game. I'm just going to take Auburn with less than 7 points. Give it to me. So it'll give me a reason to watch the game, too. And it's really about the only reason. I don't know enough about this game right now, but
I almost added actually Auburn. So I know Cal last week blew out North Texas on the road. But I think you're right. Like, I mean, Auburn isn't projected to be anything great, but boy, I mean, Cal is a bad Pac-12 team too.
Really?
So I actually think you're spot on. I'll be joining you on this one. Didn't make this, just missed. I'm going to one of the headliner that's not being talked about because of Dion, but I'm taking Texas plus 7.5 against Bama. I mean, you know my dishatred for, or hatred, I should say.
I know my hatred for Texas is similar to that, so I hope you're wrong on this one.
Yeah, but I mean, let's go back to that game last year, right? I mean, if the quarterback injury doesn't happen, I mean, Texas was in control of that game. I think the revenge angle here is huge. I'm not impressed with Bama. I mean, yeah, they played Mid-Tennessee. They blew them out last week, but I wasn't really impressed with that quarterback either. So 7.5 here. Texas is going to put up points, man. This isn't the same. Bama's not the same as what we're accompanied to and are used to anymore. So I think Texas will score, and quite frankly, I think this comes down to the wire. So I mean, full more than a full touchdown, I'll take it with Texas.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Sark is so overrated. I really do. So I mean, we're gonna find out though. Yeah. I mean, he's gonna have the leash isn't gonna be very long for him. I mean, he's got the Arch Manning in the bag too, and if he's got this year and next year, probably 1 year with Arch, if that's not going well in the SEC, he'll be gone for 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge game. It definitely is a big, especially for playoff implications.
Sure. All right. Well, I'll run through our picks here quick, and then we'll get into the real sucks. I know we have a lot to get to in the NFL. Yeah. I had Nebraska +3, Iowa -4, UTEP -2. The over in Ole Miss, Tulane at 66, and Auburn -6.5. And for you, I had SMU +16, Pitt -7, Temple +9.5, Boise State +3 in the hook, and Texas +7.5. So we will keep stats there, and hopefully you guys can cash that ticket. I got a bunch. You know how I love my preseason NFL plays in here. But before we get into the NFL, why don't we take a quick break here and get a word from our sponsors at Revelton Distilling Company.
At Revelton Distilling Company, everyone has become a part of the Revelton family. From the Taylors and their daughter who helped perfect their award-winning gins, to the team who installed Lucy, our 33-foot-tall custom-made still, right down to the local farms that provide our coveted corn, and even the cows on those farms who consume our mash byproduct. Want to see the farm to flask come to life? Now you can tour Lucy and find out where we take Iowa's harvest and transform it into our finest spirits. Choose between a 45-minute tour or find out even more by scheduling a VIP behind-the-scenes tour to get the taste of the full Revelton experience. You can visit them at 1400 West Clay Street in Osceola, Iowa, or find all of Revelton's award-winning spirits at any local grocery or spirits retailer.
Welcome back. Again, I'm Ted Hawley. He's Justin Smool. For our new listeners, welcome again. Hopefully you stay on board and we can help you make some money. Back on season 4. We've been doing this now. This is, again, we're really excited to be part of Three Beards Media family this year. I got some exciting stuff coming up in the future, so we're really pumped. I think I speak for both of us on that.
Absolutely.
But let's get into the main course here, which is the NFL. And you know how I like my preseason future bets. You tend to do pretty well on these because I research them too long in the offseason. I just sit waiting for the NFL to start. But
right,
I don't know if you had any that stood out, and if you don't, that's all right. I can run through some of mine quick because I have some favorites for sure.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. I have some win totals we can talk about.
Sure.
There's like 2 that just stand out to me. But yeah, you go ahead. You run through yours first, and then
so I'll start with some of my win total bets that I have in here, and that was look, the Arizona Cardinals have made it very, very clear they want Caleb Williams. I don't know how else to take it other than leaving Kyler on the pup, and then you cut Colt McCoy, and you trade for Josh Dobbs, and you're gonna start him 2 weeks later. I mean, we've seen him. I mean, that's tanking. You're tanking, openly tanking. And look, I can't say I blame you, but you're gonna have to find something to do with him. But under 4 wins, plus 125, getting plus money on that, they're not winning 4 games. At the worst, you're getting a push here. I mean, they are playing hard for that last pick. Or that first pick. So
and trading away D-Hop too.
Yeah, I mean that was just and look, I get it. If you're gonna tank, why are you gonna pay somebody that much money? So I get it. So that's one that stood out to me. I love the Atlanta Falcons this year. They are my dark horse sleeper. I think they're gonna win that division in the South. So I think what their wins were 8. Yeah, I had them at 8.5, I think.
Yeah, I believe that's right. 8.5.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't have that one written down, but I have them at plus 230 to win the South and minus 120 to make the playoffs. And I have their over bet. I'm pretty sure it's 8.5 wins. I love the Falcons this year. I love Art Smith. Bijan was the absolute perfect pick for him to have in there too. I mean, you think about what he did. Tyler Algier had 1,000 yards as a rookie last year. If you're a fantasy owner, you should be getting him in late rounds anyway, because he's still going to get 15 touches a game. They're going to run the ball a lot. It's the only question mark there is Desmond Ridder. And if he's not any good, they have Taylor Heineke. Yeah. He's serviceable enough to come in and play well, especially in his system, because he doesn't ask the quarterback to do too much. I mean, look what he did with Tannehill when he was the OC. I love Art Smith. I'm just a huge Art Smith fan, and I love the Falcons this year.
Okay. So that's I'm with you on that to win that division.
My big one I'm taking, I got crappy odds on, but I just don't think they're going to do it, which is weird when you get to my picks this week too. It doesn't make any sense. But I have the Browns under 9 wins. It's a minus 140. It's crappy odds. I just think that division's kind of loaded. I think Pittsburgh's going to be a little better than people expect, and they're going to be a little worse. And the Ravens and the Bengals are both loaded this year. So
yeah, probably the only one we disagree on.
You like the Browns over?
I'm down on the Ravens bad.
Down on the Ravens. I'm not as heavy on them as most people are, but you know how I feel about Joe Burrow. So I think the Bengals are just they're going to be awesome. But that was another one that stood out to me. I had the Bears. I bought it down to 7.5. I think they're at 8 on some places. I had them under 7.5 wins for plus money, plus 112. They're the worst record in the league last year for a reason.
That's my favorite play of the win totals. My favorite play is the Bears.
They're not going to win 8 games this year. No, sorry to our buddy Chris, who's a huge Bears fan, but it's just not going to happen.
No,
and also because I sneaky like Green Bay over 7.5 wins. I think they're going to. I like Josh Love a lot. I think they're going to be better than everybody thinks. So I think there's too much hype on the Bears and not enough on the Packers, and that's my biggest swing there. And I'm not as big on the Lions either. I'm down on the Lions, everybody else too. The Vikings aren't going to win as much of that of their their 1-score games like they did last year. So I actually like Green Bay sneaky to win that division. They get pretty good odds. I think it's like plus 350 or something like that even.
Yeah,
in the division. I like that.
I don't hate it, but yeah, I'm fully on board. That's my favorite win total is the Bears under. Fact. I mean, I don't see a path how they win. I mean, first off, week 1 and they're a 1-point favorite against the Packers. I mean, that just tells you like they're gonna be like dogs a lot this season.
No, for sure. And look, and this is maybe a little bit of a homer play, but I'm such a big Sean Payton guy. Like the only thing I say in all last year is like we have to get Sean Payton. We have to get Sean Payton. Well, we got Sean Payton, and he has more than Wilson in his place. He will bench him after 2 games if he's not.
It's going to happen. Stidham is going to be your starter.
I like Stidham a lot.
I do too. I hated seeing him leave.
Well, we paid him to do it, but over 8.5 wins, I have 2 different bets for it. I have plus money at 8.5. That's just going 9-8. I think they're going to go 9-8. I'm going to win some games they shouldn't, but I got plus 108 and plus 125 at 8.5. And I think a lot of the books have them at 8 wins too, but I bought it up to 8.5. So I just think they're going to have a winning season this year. And hopefully if you want to take a dark horse shot into, they're plus 600 to win the division.
Yeah.
I still think it's the Chiefs to go through. It's dumb to not go there. I mean, Mahomes is who he is, but
he is, yeah.
Plus 600 to win the division is it's just kind of worth some pizza money on that to do that. The other big one I had is I think it's maybe a little too obvious and stinks a little bit. So maybe it's a bad bet, but it's minus 120. I had the Jags over 9.5 wins. That division's terrible. We both got the Jags at like plus 700 last year to win the division. That was awesome payday for us. Look, they're by far the clear-cut favorites. I think Tennessee is going to be way down. The Colts just are young. They have a young quarterback. I think they're going to really struggle. And I like Richardson, who they took. I think they're going to be competitive in games, but I just don't think they're going to win very much. So, and then the Texans are going to be really bad. They're young too. So I just think this is their division to win. Look, they got first place last year, so they play other the first place team. So I don't think they're gonna. They might go 10-7, 11-6. I think guys like Cowherd have them getting the bye, winning like 13 games this year. I don't see that.
No.
But I do think they're gonna hit the over in the 9.5. I really do.
Okay. All right. I'll have two more here. So Carolina Panthers under 7.5.
Love that. That just missed for me too.
I mean, Bryce Young looked horrible. The Panthers are horrible. The roster's horrible.
I get the division's bad, but I'm not going 8-9. There's no way.
Yeah, how are they winning 8 games? I mean, I just don't. They're already 3.5-point dogs on the road this week to the Falcons, right? Like that, if you're 3.5 on the road to them, like you're dogs in like every game on the road this year.
And that's what's weird to me is Vegas is telling us that the Falcons their over/under is 8.5 and the Panthers are 7.5. Why are they 3.5-point dogs to start? Doesn't make any sense. So I'm with you. That's actually a really good bet.
And then you alluded to, but I'm under under Texans 6.5. I don't see how. I think they're a couple years away. If Stroud is okay, I'll give him if, and he hasn't looked good either. So under 6.5. I mean, if they go in 7, more power to them. I just don't see it. Yeah, because I actually think the Colts are sneaky in that division. To be honest, I think Richardson's the best quarterback out of that class.
Look, not having Jonathan Taylor for the first month at least is a big deal because they needed somebody else to do that. If you had a guy like him, they just ran the crap out of the ball. I can maybe get on board with you, but not having him right away is such a big deal. I don't know who's going to run the ball for him. It's going to be weird, like Deion Jackson.
Yeah, I mean he's going to get a load. I don't know. I hate running backs anyway, so they're a little overrated.
Well, we'll stick there with your Texans on running backs, unless you have any more over-unders for wins.
No, those were the 3 that I like the most.
Well, I have Dameon Pierce, so I think the Texans they're going to run the crap out of the football this year. And their O-line's actually not too bad. And Dameon Pierce was a horse last year until he kind of got banged up and missed some games. He's plus 2,700 to have the most rushing yards this year. That's a great odds to put. You put some pizza money on that. You have a nice little payday. Plus 2,700 I absolutely love it. The other one that I love isn't going to talk about enough is because I think they're still going to get Jonathan Taylor. But if the Dolphins don't get him, Jeff Wilson's starting the year on IR, and they have a rookie that's kind of banged up, might not play week 1. Raheem Mostert has been the man in his system.
Yeah.
Like the man. Yeah. He's plus 6,000 to lead the league in rushing yards. That's crazy. I put $20 to win 1,200 on that. Sure. He's the type of guy that could run away with his job while everybody's banged up. Get through a month, and if he's the man, I get it. They do like to do committees, but he has a chance. He has the chance to take that job and run with it. And he's plus 4,500 to have the most rushing TDs too. I just thought there was a good enough odds on him. I really like him, especially in fantasy as well. And the other guy, David Montgomery, at plus 1,500 to have the most rushing TDs. He's going into Jamal. Jamal Williams had 17 touchdowns for the Lions last year. He broke Barry Sanders' single-season record. They brought Montgomery in to have that role. He's going to be the hammer. They drafted Gibbs number 12 overall in the draft, but he's a rookie, and he's going to be the scat back. He's going to catch a lot of balls. But inside the goal line there, it's going to be all day. That's what they brought him in for. Would not shock me if he led the league in touchdowns with like 14, 15 this year at all. It's a perfect role for him.
Sure. Right. I don't have any. I don't do any of the player stuff. Truthfully, I'd be curious to know what you probably disagree here, but what Aaron Rodgers is to win.
Well, I'll tell you because I have him on here. I put some pizza money on that too.
Oh, you do? Okay.
He's plus 1,600 to win the MVP. So,
gosh, I was hoping for longer.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I thought either. And then I put some on. So I think the Chargers are going to underachieve this year in wins. However, I do think Kellen Moore is going to put that offense over the top on some stuff, and I think Herbert is going to go nuts and have a chance to win the MVP if they do start winning games. He's plus 900. I put some on him at plus 900. I also think he's going to lead the league in passing yards and possibly touchdowns as well. I can't remember.
I do like that for passing touchdowns. I mean, he's going to sling it all over the place.
He's going to sling it all over the place for that, and it was a no-brainer for me in the touchdowns. I didn't have that one written down, but I did put some money on that too for him to lead the league in passing yards and touchdowns. I think he's gonna have a big year with Kellen Moore. And I think he's got something to prove after getting canned in Dallas. And I think you have a chance there with the defensive head coach. Anytime that happens and you have an OC that an offense goes well, they usually get a head job pretty quick. So I think that's what he's there. Josh Allen plus 700 MVP. I'm actually down on the Bills a little bit this year, but he's just kind of seems like it's his time maybe.
Bills missed the playoffs.
See, you know what? There's actually, if you think they're going to miss the playoffs, it's actually picking the exacto division for them to finish last. The Patriots might be sneaky good and go like 9-8 this year.
Yeah, well, if you told me right now that Tua is going to play 80% of the season, I'm saying Jets and Dolphins make it.
Which leads into one of my bets here too. I don't think he can play that long. I think Mike White might end up being their quarterback. You just don't know if he can stay healthy. And for that reason, I took under 25.5 touchdowns for Tua. I'm getting plus money. I'm getting plus 102.
I mean, I get it.
And it's a health deal. It's not a talent deal. I actually kind of like Tua, especially in that offense. I just don't know if he can stay healthy. That's the reason.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, that's the only thing, right? But if you told me, like, if I knew he was playing 80% of the season, like I'm on the Dolphins because I think that team's good.
Sure. Well, and so back to the Bills a little bit though. I took Diggs you're getting plus 1,500 for him to lead the league in receiving yards. Those are pretty good odds. And with all the crap in the offseason with him and Allen, I almost feel like he's going to force feed him the football too much, which could be a reason to where his stats are going up, but they're losing more games.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's possible.
It was worth it for me on that. I also bet Burrow at plus 700 for MVP. I just don't know what his health's like. I made that bet long time ago before when I thought he was going to be playing the whole time. I think he's going to play this week, gets his new deal, but we'll see. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers plus 1,600 MVP. Everybody loves him now because of Hard Knocks. It kind of always has that deal to it. Plus 550 for most TD passes. That's what it was. I do have it down here. That's a good bet.
I would argue that. Is there anybody that's going to have a bigger chip on their shoulder than Aaron Rodgers?
No. And that's the reason that it worries me with it. I have lots of shares of Breece Hall in fantasy. Is we know what he does with his running backs. He likes the play action on the 1 yard line to get. Don't tell me he doesn't care about stats. He cares about stats.
Oh yeah. Rodgers loves himself some Rodgers.
And he loves himself some Rodgers. And that's why I also had Garrett Wilson at plus 1,600 to lead the league in touchdowns. For that reason, the play action fade route to Wilson.
He's going to get so many targets inside the red zone.
So many targets, yes.
We already saw the one drive that Rodgers played the back shoulder. I mean, how many times is that? Well, that wasn't a back shoulder, but we're going to see that play all the time.
All the time. And he's also plus 1,600 to lead the league in receiving yards. I threw some pizza money on that too, but I really like the touchdown one with him for the reason that we know he likes to throw the ball at the goal line, not just at red zone, around the goal line. He loves to throw the football.
Yep.
So that was another play for me. Cordell Sutton, I think, is going. He's playing that Mike Thomas role in Sean Payton's offense. He has been anyway, especially with Judy banged up. I think he's sneaky going to get back to kind of the receiver he was a couple years ago. He's plus 5,500 to have the most TD. The most TDs this year, plus 5,500. That's a lot, and just with those odds, it's worth doing. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think he's going to have a pretty big year. So
it's a long shot for a reason.
Any overs on Sutton? I'm big on Sutton this year. So any kind of bets on any of his stat stuff, I really like.
Cool. Yeah. No, I don't really have anything. I don't do much of the player stuff like you. So
I know I love this. That's too good. And I think Tony Pollard has a chance.
You're really good at it though. So
I think Tony Pollard has a chance to be fantasy football RB1 this year overall. I really do. I think they're gonna pound the rock with him on his deal because he might not be back next year. He's plus 1,500.
I like Nick Chubb a lot. You
like Chubb? See, I like Chubb too. He's such a heavy. He was like plus 300 to lead the league in touchdowns. It just wasn't. Yeah, his odds were just so bad.
No, thanks. I don't want those odds.
No, but I obviously would. Commanders total over under. Yeah, I've got a question from Drew Shipley here. So I'm actually so the Commanders are 6.5 for their over under.
6.5. Yeah.
I'm sneaky on the Sam Howell bandwagon, and I like the playmakers there.
Dude, I am too. We hadn't even talked about it.
I think the Commanders have they're the dark horse make the playoffs team. At like 9-8. So I love the Commanders over, which is weird because I'm actually I like Sam Howell. And
I do too. People forget when people forget where he was projected to be out of North Carolina. Like
he stayed a year too long. He stayed a year
season,
too long.
He was going to be a top 10 pick.
Which was, and he just went way too late. It was crazy. So I actually like that. And look, Ron Rivera is coaching for his job. They have a bad year.
Who else did they hire? The big they got Bieniemy.
See, and I'm not a Bieniemy guy. So my only holdback on this is we're going to find out what he's not. We're going to find out. So
Sure.
But I do love the Commanders over because I'm down on some of those. I think that division is really good, but I do think they're going to win over 6.5 games.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean hey, let's face the repeat. I mean, everyone's been talking about, right? That East. I don't think they've had a repeat winner since 2004.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
I mean, so hey, the Eagles won it last year, right? Everyone's on paper putting them in again. I mean, hey, just go off history.
I hate the Cowboys, but I do think the Cowboys are going to win the division this year. I think they're actually it's a pretty good. They're loaded. They just I don't.
If they stay healthy, they're loaded.
Completely agree.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I like Washington over too.
So that's the only other really one that stood out to me here for the player deal was I loved Ramondre Stevenson. I bet him probably too much money on his to have the most rushing touchdowns, and then they signed Zeke.
Ooh, I like.
And then they signed Zeke.
I still like Ramondre though. I like him a lot.
I'm just worried that Zeke's gonna vulture his touchdowns, but we'll see. Other than that, there's just some plays there. I love the season over total stuff. But obviously that's all pizza money. Don't go crazy on any of these, except the over under totals. Like those are pretty. If you feel confident on that, like I have a pretty. I didn't bet the Commanders yet. I'm gonna go back and do that once the show's over because I really do love them over 6.5.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, I'll lead us off here for the week.
Let's go.
All right. It wouldn't be anything. I might as well just go plug your nose. We're going to take the Texans plus 10 at Baltimore. We'll get the ugliest game out of the way early. I mentioned earlier, I'm not high on Baltimore. I mean, I still think they're relying a lot on youth. I mean, Dobbins still has barely played in his career. Bateman can't stay healthy. They have Zay Flowers, who everyone loves, but
OBJ hasn't played in over a year.
He just he didn't practice today. He's hurt. So I mean, I don't know. Talent wise, Ravens have talent everywhere. They're good defensively.
They're banged up in their secondary, though.
I don't love
their secondary is really banged up right now.
Sure, yeah, and I don't love CJ Stroud by any means. Like I don't at all. But here's the thing: I think the Texans' defense is vastly improved, so I think they can keep it close. Because let's face it, is Baltimore a team that goes out and scores 37, 35? I don't see. If that's the case, then they probably cover. But if Baltimore is going to score 14 or 24, I mean, I'll take the Texans to score a couple touchdowns.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, you can talk me into that all day. I don't hate that play. I'll start with tonight. Yep. I got for the game tonight on Thursday Night Football. I'm pumped to watch it. It's stinky. Okay. Look, no Kelsey, but it's Mahomes. I'm staying away from the spread, but I love the over at 53. I think there's no Chris Jones. Okay. I think Detroit's going to run the crap out of the football, and Mahomes is going to score. It's not going to be a blowout on that way too. So I just really think it's going to be like a 30-27, 35-31 game, okay. And I think 53 is too low. So I love the over tonight.
All right. I'm going to make it short and sweet here. I think you're going to be against me, but I'm taking the Browns plus 2.5 this week. Sometimes you just can't explain weird rivalries, and this is one of them. The Browns are 8-2 straight up the last.
The Browns made my card at plus 2.5. I love the Bengals. They're a little banged up, but the Browns are on my card. This is a sneaky line. When you see 2.5 point dog at home, they're begging. Vegas is begging you to take Cincy for under field goal. That means they think the Browns are going to win the game. So I actually have some money line spread out on the Browns as well.
People forget, Burrow was a slow starter last year too.
Burrow is the only team he has trouble with is the Browns. I think they've lost 4 out of the last 5. If it starts against them, the Browns have had his number, which is weird. Again, like I said, the Browns are they're under for the season total on wins, but I think they're actually going to win this football game. and I still like
All right.
Cincy. It's weird.
Cool.
There's just too much going on there, and this is such a stinky line that I took the Browns.
Yeah.
It's a similar pick to Nebraska, as again why I did it. It just stinks so much, and they're at home.
Right. I'm glad we agree.
Yeah, we did. It made the card too. That's funny.
Yep.
I got Green Bay +1 at Chicago. We kind of explained it a lot in the in our season totals there. I'm just down on Chicago, and I actually think Green Bay is going to overachieve. It's kind of as simple as that. Like I just think Green Bay is going to win this football game. I think the Bears are good enough to be favored against anybody right now. So yeah, I'm taking Green Bay +1.
Okay. I'm taking Colts +5.5 against the Jags. This is probably recipe for disaster. It's ugly, the whole situation. But here's the deal: like the Jags got to prove it to me, man. Like you can't just go on the road and start laying big numbers. Like they're being put on this like pedestal here that they're this so-called playoff team. Like, dude, you had a miracle comeback last year. Like, I'm not sold by any means. Like, I get Lawrence, everything.
I'm a big Peterson guy.
Actually, back to your total. Calvin Ridley's I like him a lot this year. Calvin Ridley.
So he is I have a bunch of shares of him in fantasy. Sure. So that actually checks out for me too. We just haven't seen him for so long. We forget how good that he was. If he's still some of that, I mean, he should come back healthy now. I mean, and I think we both like him because he's a gambler, obviously.
Sure. Fair. But anyway, I mean, I like Richardson, man. I think the Colts roster on the defensive side of the ball, I think they keep it close. I mean, people forget that this Colts team beat the Chiefs last year. I believe it was week 3. So if the Colts get anything out of Richardson, it's better than what they've had. Yeah. You know?
Well, I'm against you here. So if you have them at 5.5, okay. I had the Jags at 4.5. So why don't we just meet in the middle and call it 5 for purposes? If you're okay with that, do you still like it there?
That's fine. Yeah, I should have looked to see. Our contest came out too.
Oh, yeah, so we are going to take their.
I don't remember what that line ended up being. I'm going to check real quick.
So for the listeners too. We joined. What's it called? The contest in Vegas.
Yeah, the Circa Millions. It's actually 4.5 now. 4.5. It's 4.5 for the Circa. Yeah, it's 4.5. So we'll play it at that. Okay. To be fair,
that's what I had at was 4.5. So actually, I love the Jags at that.
That's fine. Okay. We're against each other. We always got one.
Who else you got?
I got the Bucks +6 at Minnesota.
Interesting.
Minnesota's a weird team to me. Like they won all these coin flip games. I like the Vikings, but boy, like it's hard to have all those 1-score games go your way, and then the next.
It just doesn't. It evens itself out. It always does.
It does. And let's face it, right? I mean, I said Aaron Rodgers with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, Baker Mayfield has a chip on his shoulder too this year, right?
Yeah. So this is his last shot. This is his last chance.
Yeah. The Vikings defense was, I don't know. They were horrible last year, to say the least. I mean, sure, they're probably going to be better because you can't really get any worse, but I don't know. But +6.
I think the Vikings are going to win by 3. I actually love this play. It just missed for me.
All right.
I'm going to go with another team. This makes no sense again because I don't like the Giants this year, and I just said the Cowboys are going to win the division. But I like the Giants +3.5 on Sunday Night Football against Dallas. They're at home. For week 1, 3.5. That's a big hook. It's just kind of sneaky again where I think everybody's going to be on Dallas there. So I think Dallas wins by 3. I think it's going to be a sweat. I think that Dallas probably win the game, but I don't know if they're going to cover 3.5. So it's just kind of a week 1 division home dog is my biggest reason on prime time. I'm a big Dayball guy. I do like Dayball a lot. So that's my last play is the Giants +3.5.
Okay, I got one more. I'm going to take the Dolphins +3 at the Chargers. I love, we've kind of alluded to. I mean, if we're getting a healthy Tua here, we know that from the get-go, right? So that's part of the reason. This could be a crazy game with just explosive plays all over the field. So it should be pretty entertaining.
Should check the over-under on this too. If it's not crazy, I might take the over on that because I agree with you.
Yeah. But I'll take the +3 here. I just think as a whole, I just think Miami's a better football team than the Chargers, and you're going to give me a full field goal and a big key number. So
love it.
I'll take Miami.
I actually really like that place too. So we might have to I'm going to have to put Miami in our Vegas play.
In the Circa Millions. All right, we can do that.
I like Miami there too. So,
okay.
All right. Well, I'll run through our picks here quick. I'm on Kansas City, Detroit over 53, Browns plus 2.5, Packers plus 1, Giants plus 3.5, and the Jags minus 4.5. Small, you have the Texans stinky plus 10, Browns plus 2.5, Colts plus 4.5, Bucks plus 6, and the Dolphins plus 3. So, hey man, football's back.
It's back.
I'm pumped. The NFL's back. I can't wait for tonight. Sit down and get the juices flowing again. Live gambling, live betting. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So thanks for everybody that's tuning in, especially for the first timers. This is just kind of what we do. This will probably be our longest show of the year as we do kind of our preseason stuff. We try to keep it around 30, 35 minutes usually. It's a little long the first week always. But again, if anything else to add before we get out of here?
No. Go Clones.
Go Clones. I hope I lose that. I hope I lose that line. But again, we're really excited to be with Three Beards Media. Really pumped for this new relationship. So as always, I'm Ted. He's Small. Cash that ticket.